In an up-to-date engineering office, they interpret the best features of American design, adapt them to new conditions, and combine them with British workmanship to provide users throughout the world with the most modern and efficient machines.
As we look around the world today, we see magnificent buildings and structures, technological advances never before dreamed of, and take it all for granted. However, all of these amazing constructions around us had to be built with the tools and ingenuity of the people around us. Through necessity or innovation, we have seen engineers and inventors introduce increasingly powerful, heavy machinery. So today, we take a look back at all the companies who have vied for the #1 spot in heavy machinery manufacturing, who along the way have brought us some of the most versatile, powerful, and surprising machines ever invented. Here are 20 of some of the best and oldest heavy machinery in the world. Ruston Bucyrus. Number 4. Face Shovel, 1926. The heavy machinery manufacturer, Ruston, first introduced their Ruston Bucyrus No. 4 in 1926. This means it was designed and created even before the engineering company Ruston Bucyrus was formed in late 1929 to 1930. This universal excavator was the top of the line at the time and one of the only of the old Ruston and Hornby designed machines that would remain a part of their product line moving forward after the formation of the Ruston Bucyrus Engineering Company, based in London. The last time this machine was produced was sometime in the mid-1930s, with less than 1,000 of them ever produced. The unique barn-like cab and powerful claw are a classic and nostalgic design. These days, it is able to be seen in action at the Great Dorset Steam Fair or events of a similar type. 1935, the D8 Caterpillar Crawler Tractor. The D8 Caterpillar Crawler and Tractor is still a legend in the game. It has survived all this time and still keeps its reputation as one of the best heavy machinery to ever be conceived, as they still manage to work the land 90 years later. This machine was first produced by Caterpillar in the year 1935. The horsepower could range from 80 to 300, all depending on the user's programming and needs. This crawler had tracks that would provide excellent traction, never getting stuck or unbalanced no matter what terrain it was working at the time. This is definitely an operator favorite, as they enjoyed its reliability, but also its many blade options. Even the cabin was luxurious at the time, as it once reigned king among all the tractors. Every model had an easy control panel and a comfortable cab, which made working in it all day easily borne. It was a piece of the future and its luxuries in the middle of the 30s. There are even some which are still crawling along and digging up all kinds of dirt. This model was so popular that many more variants came along afterwards, all with only one thing in common. They all used the same 2-cylinder petrol starting engine to precondition the main diesel engine, Ruston Bucyrus. No. 6, 1939. This Ruston Bucyrus No. 6 is very special, made in 1939. This machine once lived under multiple code names. Once it was known as Cultivator No. 6. A codename necessary as it was being designed as a military trench digging machine developed by the British Royal Navy at the very start of the Second World War. It is a machine of its time, as these days the term trench warfare has been more story than reality for decades. Originally, the machine was called White Rabbit No. 6, as a joke about Winston Churchill's ability to continuously pull one trick after the other out of his rabbit hat. At one time, Churchill himself would nickname it his mole, and later, Nellie. This heavy machine was designed to be able to advance on an enemy's position below ground level in a trench that it would simultaneously be excavating. This enormous machine was over 130 tons, and it had a length exceeding 77 feet. Its width was over 7 feet, and its height over 10 feet. The engine was 600 horsepower and could run at a speed of 3 miles per hour on solid ground. Only a few were ever manufactured, and it was never actually used in warfare, the ways of war changing forever after World War II. Ruston Bucyrus 10RB Steam Shovel, 1940s. The Ruston Bucyrus 10, or also known as the RB steam shovel, first arrived in the 1940s. This machine has a very simplistic style, more akin to a small outhouse with a large handle or crane sticking out of its front. Many would call it one of the first few heavy machinery ever made and sold. The few that remain and are functional have had some minor alterations, like a splash of extra color to freshen it up. It weighs around 50,000 pounds and is made of steel. The RB10 is around 25 feet long and stands at 12 feet tall. It is powered by a steam engine which would pump around 100 horsepower at its height of functionality. This machine was made to dig. Its bucket could hold around a cubic yard of dirt, not bad for a machine made in the 40s. This machine could be found at many construction sites over the years, especially those used to dig up canals and help build railroads. While few people would be impressed by its power today, it was certainly a favorite back in the day. The design was very simple, but in return, it was also very easy to use. The high level of reliability, ease of use, and surprising durability has it down as one of the best of all time. Bantam C35, 1940s. The Bantam C35 was a small crane first introduced in the 1940s and designed by Vern and Wilbur Schild of the Shield Bantam Company based in Iowa. The Bantam was a shovel crane that could be mounted on a truck and was a jack of all trades because of its versatility and adaptability. It was first made and designed as a dragline to help with lime production, a favorite machine for farmers everywhere. It was also used to help with highway maintenance, as it has an 11-ton capacity crane that was able to pull out trees, trash, and more for the local highway departments. The first 9 of these Bantams were first produced in a barn on Vern Shield's quarry. Later on, they would go on to make over 15,000 units. They would continue to manufacture these until the 1960s. The end of these little cranes production was a sad one, as they were very affordable and were easy to maintain, making them extremely popular. Its weight varied since many different configurations were offered to customers depending on their specific needs. For example, they offered this crane in backhoe and face shovel versions. The strong steel construction and lovely features like a roomy cab, 4 doors, and high visibility was the height of practicality and ease of use. Alice Chalmers HD21 Dozer, 1950s. The Alice Chalmers HD21 Dozer was made in the early 1950s and was the first Alice Chalmers tractor to go over 100 horsepower. The D21 was the largest model of the D series, however. You will not be seeing any more of these being produced as the company shut down over 50 years ago now. However, there are still some of these heavy-duty bulldozers floating around and still running. The durability and endurance of this metal beast is so great that you could run it for hours without even a small drop in performance. The HD21 weighs around 41,000 pounds, is 18 feet in length and 10 feet tall. The engine is diesel and can reach almost 270 horsepower. This level of strength is perfect to achieve all of the tasks demanded of heavy machinery made to move earth. To add to its power and durability, this model has an undercarriage that efficiently handles its transmission system. This excellent quality machine has earned its reputation as a do-all dozer. This machine would often be seen on construction, mining, and even forestry sites because of its power and maneuverability, which allowed it to thrive even in difficult terrain. This yellow bulldozer is also very accessible, meaning nearly anyone can learn how to use it without any problems. The cabin is focused on comfort and safety, making it easy to work with all day long if necessary. Even now, this vintage heavy machine is a collector's dream, and people gather around to see it in action. Euclid R50, 1960. The Euclid R50 was released in the 1960s, meant to make transport easier than ever. Popular in the mining and construction industries, this truck could produce around 675 horsepower. This power was put to good use. With a load capacity of 24 to 35 cubic meters, it was moving all kinds of things back and forth from different job sites. The payload it could carry was massive, at around 51 tons. Of course, it required a suitably strong engine to pull off all of this work, so the Cummins VTA-28C came in handy. The hydraulics were excellent, made up of two Euclid Stage 2 double-acting cylinders. This heavy-duty truck weighed 70,000 pounds when empty and measured around 14 feet in height. With a length of over 30 feet, this bad boy could be seen coming your way from a mile away. Often painted a nice green color, there was no mistaking the Euclid R50 for anything other than a tough worker. It could easily carry tens of thousands of pounds of material in its huge truck bed. Definitely useful to help a friend on moving day or other large-scale hauling. The durable frame and suspension system makes this a great investment. Terex 8250, 1960s. This bulldozer is a classic machine that was built to replace a Euclid track-type tractor in the 1960s. It would be a customer favorite for its many reliable and durable features. With a height of over 12 feet, 22 feet in length, and also the weight of over 72,000 pounds, this metal giant needed a massive Detroit 12 V701T engine that could produce over 500 horsepower worth of energy. The machine could be equipped with all kinds of things, from a semi-U dozer blade row a single shank ripper. One interesting feature was the rear-mounted engine. The precision is a dream thanks to its hydraulic system and its tough build. This machine was the #1 pick for mining, construction, and land clearing tasks. The operators who once used this machine enjoyed how easily it could tear through mountains of dirt and rock. The cab was very practical and standard, with a rollover protection system which had a metal frame that would surround and protect the operator's seat in case of any accidents. It would eventually be discontinued, but it remains an old classic and favorite. Euclid TC12 Dozer. This iconic bulldozer was a bright green and a huge gamble for its company. This was quite a departure from Euclid's other product lines, and it made waves when it was first revealed in 1955. This company was a leader in the construction tools manufacturing sector, and by this point in history, money was direly needed, so it was sold and came under new management. This new management wanted to be bolder, so they designed the big, bold Euclid TC12, a very heavy machine that was hard to transport across great distances. It weighed around 40 tons and had a unique split-frame design with its engines mounted on each side. The engine was a twin GM 671, each driving one track, courtesy of the new owners. This model had a power shift transmission on each engine and radiators located behind the operator to keep them safe from dirt and dust. The horsepower was nothing to scoff at, reaching anywhere between 400 and 425 horsepower. As more companies began making their own heavy machinery, the Euclid TC12 was no longer the odd one out, but it was also losing its special sparkle to the new machines on the scene. It would eventually see various upgrades that would see it renamed to all kinds of variations. There would be around 901 units in total built. As time passed, it would eventually also lose its Euclid name, but would return under a new name, Terex, the Silver Spade, 1950 B 1965. The Silver Spade was the special name given to the power shovel machine that would change the standard for all future models. It was moving millions of cubic meters of dirt in a time where such figures could only be the thing of fantasy. Manufactured by the Bucyrus Erie Group, it was designed when there was a sudden surge of mining interests in the Midwest. The coal industry needed massive mining shovels quickly, and that's where this gift comes in. This machine was special because of its massive size and power. It stood over 222 feet high. It was as wide as an 8-lane highway and a total showstopper of a beauty. It weighed around 14 million pounds, a figure so large one wonders how it was able to move at all. The bucket capacity for this ultra-heavy machinery was 105 cubic yards or 160 tons. It had a dumping radius of almost 200 feet, which means the machine could spin 180 degrees to pick up and drop off its overburden. You may wonder how it was able to operate, and the answer is 14 separate motors. This is only possible because of a 7,000-volt electricity supply. Unfortunately, this shovel was dismantled sometime in 2007 as it was retired and it was too expensive to keep standing. Marion 8050 Dragline, 1975. The Marion 8050 dragline was first used in the mid-1970s, likely between 1975 and 1996. This machine was famous the world over for its impressive stature and power. It was often recognized that the bigger a machine was, the better, as it would be able to tackle abnormally large amounts of work without faltering. It is estimated to weigh at around 3 tons and has a 99-meter boom. This piece of heavy machinery is around 100 feet tall, blowing many of its predecessors out of the water. The bucket capacity of the Marion 8050 was around 62 cubic meters or 82 tons of dirt or other materials. This machine was mostly used for mining operations because it was fantastic for getting to deep buried coal. It was also able to move heavy amounts of dirt and rock. This machine had an extremely wide digging radius thanks to the length and strength of the boom. This machine was electric, so it had massive electric motors that would power its every move. This machine has extremely precise maneuverability, so it is considered largely reliable and durable, functioning even decades after its first use if correctly cared for. This heavy machinery is a favorite for many operators who have had the opportunity to use it. It is also considered one of the biggest walking dragline excavators in the world. Komatsu WA-150, 1965. The Komatsu WA-150 was a powerful and durable wheel loader that was a little over 7 feet tall with a varying width, depending on the kinds of attachments and design of the machine. When in operation, this loader could easily reach 10 feet tall, and its weight was nearly 19,000 pounds, give or take some weight depending on the custom configurations. It was nearly 21 feet in length, making it a massive steel behemoth of a machine. This machine was powered by a turbocharged diesel engine that had 4 cylinders, something that was previously unheard of in a wheel loader. It could produce 90 horsepower and had a bucket capacity exceeding 1.5 cubic yards. This machine had power shift transmission with both forward and reverse gears. Many consider this wheel loader to be one of the best ever designed for its excellent handling, reliability, and innovative attachments. This Komatsu had quick couplers for easy attachments. John Deere 450, 1970. The John Deere 450 was one of the first to utilize the diesel engine, a fast adapter of technology. This heavy machinery could reach anywhere from 70 to 100 horsepower. It was well over 6 feet in height with a length that varied from anywhere from 9 feet to 14 feet, depending on its current configuration or function. It had a width of 5.5 feet and weighed over 15,000 pounds. To give it a competitive edge, it was also one of the only crawler loaders on the market that offered a hydrostatic transmission with many different speed controls. The operators who had an opportunity to drive one of these would always comment on its smooth and precise maneuverability. To this day, this quality of engineering is admired, making this crawler a true gem. One of the best features of this crawler loader is that it is incredibly useful, as it can lift a tremendous amount of weight, anywhere between 3,000 and 5,000 pounds in fact. This vehicle came with a lot of auxiliary hydraulics, allowing it to be attached to rippers, blades, and backhoes for a variety of different tasks. This machine was extremely adaptable, which is what made it such a great investment. Caterpillar 966C 1970. This Caterpillar 966C is a wheel loader that first took the spotlight in 1970 as the latest and greatest in powerful and efficient heavy machinery, manufactured specifically for heavy-duty tasks. With a bucket force of over 25.5 pounds and a bucket capacity of 4 cubic yards, this machine was able to move bucketfuls of dirt, rocks, and more with great ease. The bucket width was around 10 feet, and its dump clearance at max raise was also 10 feet. The height stood at around 12 feet and its length at nearly 24 feet. The width over tires was 9 feet and the fuel capacity was 65 gallons of gas. The operating weight was an astounding 37,000 pounds with a tipping weight of 28,000 pounds. This machine was perfect for moving even complex materials. Its speed can reach very high numbers, from moving forward at 24 miles per hour to reversing at 28 miles per hour. The 4 forward and 4 reverse gears are put to good use when you are operating this little loader. And even the rise time is very quick thanks to its excellent hydraulic system. These days, these models are selling from anywhere between $14,000 to $35,000, used of course. Caterpillar D9H 1974. The Caterpillar D9H was first introduced in the year 1974 and is known for being the ultimate dozer that can tackle any situation and task if the operator is competent enough. This is a track-type tractor, which is known as the most powerful conventional tractor in Caterpillar's history. This heavy machine is about the weight of a bus, weighing between 73,000 to 94,000 pounds, with a length of 24 feet and height of 12 feet. The engine had a turbocharged Caterpillar D353, which had a 6-cylinder engine capable of producing 410 flywheel horsepower. This model has a pilot hydraulic implement system, and its tracks were sealed and lubricated. The power shift transmission was top of the line at the time. It can move over 6 miles per hour moving forward and over 8 miles per hour in the reverse. This is a very fast machine for its size. This yellow tractor was capable of riding through any surface and had a blade that was made to move and push huge amounts of terrain while keeping its stability. Carrying over 230 gallons of fuel, this machine could work for hours on end with no problems. Best used to clear land for construction or pave away mountains of dirt, this durable and efficient machine can do anything in the right hands. P&H 2800 MKII 1975. This electric mining shovel was first produced in the late 1960s to the 1970s, painted white and dark green. It has a noticeably maneuverable design, and it hides a whole lot of power in its frame. The P&H 2800 MK2 is over 54 feet in height when fully extended and has a radius that can reach nearly double its height at 80 feet. When it comes to dumping its overburden, the door will open at 30 feet, and it can even reach higher heights with the correct attachments. It has an incredible payload capacity of 65 tons, with an even better dipper capacity that ranges anywhere between 35 and 44 cubic yards of moved earth. This is a big upgrade from the first 2800 MKI, as the structure was improved to accommodate an upgraded and improved load rating. They also made sure to improve the current capacity and voltage rating. This behemoth requires a lot of power to run, needing over 4,000 to 7,000 volts on a 3-phase system. Everything about this machine is about efficiency, which is why it has drive sprockets that make positioning and propelling easy. Wabco 252FT 1970 to 1980. The Wabco 252FT was made sometime between the 1960s and the 1970s and was part of a line of C-Series turnipulls. This machine was pure excellence, as it was one of the only elevating scrapers ever manufactured by Wabco. This machine looks like a transformer on the outside, with an intricate design that hides its true power. It was brilliant in the way it managed to incorporate a lot of new features for a Wabco-designed elevating scraper, which included things like planetary drive all around and a hydraulically powered 3-speed elevator. The powerful engine and frame of the vehicle had a good balance, with a good power-to-weight ratio. Wabco would promote this machine to many civil contractors and mine operators because of its ability to unload overburden even on a downhill slope. It was a self-loading machine and worked very well as part of any fleet. It was also very easy to modify given a person's specific needs. For example, many would change the rear air induction system or add safety handrails on its sides and back. Spill guard and heavy-duty guards on the rear engine compartments were designs that were often an easy modification to make. This machine is a beautiful, reliable, and rugged beast that can thrive in any terrain. Fiat Alice 31 1980s. The Fiat Alice 31 was made for the 1980s. Its design was powerful, with an operating weight of just under 70 tons and a Cummins KT 1150C diesel engine that could whip up to 425 horsepower. The undercarriage had parts from the larger tractor, the HD 41B. Eventually, this model would be upgraded, but from the years between 1976 until 1982, this was one of the best bulldozers in production. This machine spent most of its life working on a strip mine, its powerful shovel able to move massive amounts of earth. Standing at only 12 feet in height and with a length of 22 feet, this tractor was actually much smaller than some of its contemporaries. It has an excellent hydraulic system that helps with the precise control over its blades, which can dig up to 30 feet deep, and assures the operators of its high maneuverability. The well-designed undercarriage and sturdy frame will make this machine last a lifetime. It is even able to handle terrible environmental and terrain conditions. While it is true that the fuel mileage is abysmal when compared to machines these days, it can run an hour on 20 gallons of diesel, not the worst we have ever seen. The performance may even be worth the expense of keeping it running. Coring 1066, 1969. The Coring 1066 was an excavator first made sometime in the 1969 and continued to be produced until the late 80s and early 90s. Coring was once one of the biggest names in the excavator business from the 60s until the late 80s. The Coring 1066 weighed somewhere around 170 pounds and was powered by a Detroit Diesel 8V92TE diesel engine that could produce an impressive 430 horsepower. The bucket capacity was absurd, ranging from 1 to 3 cubic meters, and it promised to be able to move anything from dirt to boulders. It was a sturdy design that could turn anywhere from swamps to mountainous ranges. Its boom could extend to a whopping 52 feet and could dig all the way to 35 feet below ground. Its force was astounding, not surprising, given how it had a force of over 200 newtons behind its every move. This machine was best used for mass excavation and appealed to those who wanted to be very productive and turn a profit on their projects. This machine was meant to replace draglines and crawlers. However, even this hydraulic masterpiece was soon left in the dust when bigger and better machines took the center stage. Terex RH400, 1997. The Terex RH400 hydraulic mining excavator has many redeeming qualities, the foremost among them being its awe-inspiring size. This machine's name may sound like a type of dinosaur, and it is for very good reason. People have been known to stop and gasp at the sight of it. This is one of the greatest excavators to ever be built. With its great structure, it boasts amazing mining capabilities. The productivity of this machine is beyond impressive, with a displacement of approximately 20 liters and an insane power output. It can produce anything between 4,000 and 4,500 horsepower. With a bucket capacity of 40 to 60 cubic meters, this machine has the ability to move over 240 to 360 tons in one single pass. These jaw-dropping figures are mind-boggling, as it is among the biggest mining excavators in the world. Thank you so much for watching and subscribing. Make sure to leave a comment and let us know if you have ever used or learned about the heavy machinery on our list. Which machine would you like to operate or see in person? Personally, I would want to see the Silver Spade in all its glory. If you have anything helpful or fun to add, feel free to share in the comments. Before you go, do not forget to turn on your notifications and share this with your friends to keep getting new and updated content.